dragging this bitch.
Alright, hello there. This is the 5th update to Smithing It. Basically, right now in water tank. There's gonna be two versions of the build. The normal one, the tanky side one that I've been building since the first video. And the other with constricting command. Now, both builds basically do the same thing. With the constricting command you can have way more damage, but a little bit less tankiness. On the first fight with Xesht, with the normal helmet and the whole setup, the tank setup, Xesht with his hand slam did 400 damage to me. With constricting command I think he did 800, so the damage, physical damage, is still enough to tank Xesht. I will go over the differences in damage and defense. Of course, you're gonna have way more damage with constricting command, but defense wise you're gonna have way much less. For example, Xesht does have a fireball ability, That ability is able to one-shot me while I'm using Constricting command, because I'm losing a lot of armor applies to fire damage. So that's the main reason. But I do have made something like this to compare both builds. So basically with the normal setup, we're sitting at 83,000 armor while fighting mobs, so we are, scavenging. Plating, we have stag, we have an endurance charge, and we have 147 fire damage that applies to armor. So this is the main reason the fireball from Xesht will literally do nothing to us. Now the damage on weapon set number 1, which is the mapping, the clearing, is just 50,000. So it's still decent for the amount of reduction we get, like 20% less damage and attack speed. And the boss setup is 143,000, and we do 1.1 million, almost 1.2 million per shield wall. So the build does a little bit less damage, but overall the tankiness is just insane, and on maps is also, you're not gonna die with this setup right here. While the Constricting command, we do lose 18,000 armor, and boy, the amount of fire that applies to armor is what, almost 100,000. It's, well, 70,000, but still 70,000, that's a lot. 70,000 less armor applies to fire damage, that's a lot. While the damage, well, yes, the damage does go almost, we double almost the damage on episode number 1, because it goes up by 32,000. And on the boss set it goes up by 100,000, but the damage difference is we do 1.9 million per shield wall. So the damage is a difference, not too big, but yeah, so both builds, to be honest, are viable, they're good. I'll go over the pros and cons. With the normal armor setup right here, you're gonna have way more tankiness, survivability, but less damage, and well, you're not gonna have to be close to enemies to have all these stats, and you're gonna be much slower. While with Constricting command, you're gonna have nodes like 10% increased movement speed, 20% attack speed, so you're gonna be way more faster on mapping. But the downside is you lose a lot of tankiness, and I mean a lot of tankiness. And also you have to be near a enemy, because Constricting command, the surrounding tech got nerfed, that even if you have a helmet that says 5 less enemies required to be surrounded, it will not work. You still need one enemy monster near you to get the buffs from all the nodes you take. But overall, you're gonna be faster, you're gonna be hitting harder and mapping faster. But yeah, both versions are good. I still prefer the tanky side for bosses, but for mapping, I think Constricting command takes the win, because the faster you map, the more loot you get, the more XP you get. While, and yeah, so I'll have both of these versions on max roll, so you pick and choose and decide which one you want to use. On top of that, I'll give another upside from Constricting commands. If you have a duel against the darkness, that gives you bonuses like small passives, gives you 4 fire resistance or chaos, or you have like gain extra fire or cold, lighting or chaos, even extra damage per notable. You unlock suddenly all these nodes here that you get just free stats basically. So there are pros and cons to both versions of the build. One does more damage and is faster, the second is just tankier, a little bit less damage. But with the tanky version, you just always can upgrade your armor, shield armor, and get a little bit better gear, so you can keep up a little bit with Constricting command and still be tanky, and while you get better gear, you get even more tanky. So both versions of the build are alright. Right, so I'll go over with the changes mainly. Nothing really changed. The gloves still the same. I did add finally the reverse from Cataclysm to 40% on my breach wings, both of them. Weapons are still the same. The only difference here is that I do have a different amulet, and I needed spirit for weapon set number 1 to still use Herald of Ash. So I put a Azkapa Soul Core here to get 15% spirit, and that works perfectly fine. So I still have my Herald of Ash for weapon set number 1. Weapon set number 2, nothing changed, it's just a damage based type. Constricting command, this was I think 100 exalts with 2 sockets, so I just put maximum rage and fire resistance. My amulet, I have anointed here right now bestial rage. We get increased damage per 10 rage. This is for constricting command, so the damage setup if you want to use this. If not, then you can always anoint this one. It will give you armor per rage also. So I here have spirits, increase evasion, that sucks. Of course, +2 to melee, fire resistance, global defenses, and 24 chaos resistance. So I do believe that an amulet like this is expensive. I'm gonna remove these. 3 divines, if I want something with chaos resistance, there's nothing. Elemental resistance, there's... oh, that is not looking too good. How about this? No? Let's put 30. But there are a couple, 3 of them. God, all of them are awful. Yeah, but this amulet, I did not buy it. I mean, I kinda did. What I did here, I bought 2 versions of my amulet. One had the +2 to melee skills, and the other one had 49 spirit. I went to the Recombinator and started just crafting amulets, because I was like, I don't want to spend 20-30 divines to get a decent amulet with spirit. So then once I recombinated, I did hit the spirit and 2 melee skills. I went with the Discretion for a suffix, got 24 chaos resistance, it's a T1, so I was quite lucky with that one. And basically what I did later on, I slapped a greater exalt with the what I forgot what's it called, with the Omen of Greater Exaltation. And for my final one, I just slapped a exalt, and then
Have an order?
what I did, I went with a essence. Don't really remember which one was it. Oh yeah, this one. Perfect essence with enhancement, because this amulet before having the increased global defenses had 90 life, and basically I had a 50-50 chance to either hit the evasion or hit the life, and unfortunately it hit the life, so I'm stuck with evasion, but still global defenses is nice to have. So this amulet I crafted myself. Chest piece, I did try to get a 4th socket, I was unlucky, so I got 35 maximum life. Boots are still the same, increased movement speed, resistance, life, strength. A belt is still the same, charm slots, 3 of them. You don't need 3 of them, 2 are fine because you get 1 charm slot in campaign. Armor as much as I can, life and strength. And the shield is still the same, though I did try crafting a new one. I have even...
Can I help?
I made actually 2 shields. One is over here, I've priced it for 15 divines. I was hoping to get something a little bit better. At least a little bit more armor, because this shield is quite decent, but not for my build, because my build wants as much armor as possible to deal more damage. But for a mace type skill build, yeah, the shield is very good because you have like armor applies to elemental damage reduction, physical reduction, and it does have quite a high amount of block chance, so you can easily cap your block chance to 50. And I did have a second shield that I sold for 10 divines, so it's not too bad. So yeah, but right now after all the crafting, I'm kinda broke. I did craft some stuff. The ring, amulet, no ring, amulet, shields, and I did buy a megalomaniac also for 9 divines. So I did some shopping and I'm basically broke again. Right, I'll go over for the skills. The Earth Shatter, of course, we don't use that. It's mainly just so I can move around my gems a bit easier. So for the map clearing setup, you have rapid attacks 2, armor break 3 to break armor, and to get an endurance charge. At the Louis Bloodletting, as the skill is level 30 now, it does gives us just more damage right now. Chaos Madness and Citadel. And for the damage setup, you're just gonna swap these, bring Heft and Concentrated Area, and that's it. That's all what you do. Fortify and Cry and Rage War Cry, so we bypass the cooldown by spending Rage. Rage and Cry, so we get that 16 Rage back. Life Leech 3, so we leech back, so that's why we are even more tankier. Exploit Weakness, so when we apply Armor Break on bosses, we can consume that Armor Break just in case if we don't get an Endurance Charge in the boss fight. This is just our way to reset in the Armor Break to get Endurance Charges with Armor Break 3. And I think she'd see too, support skills have 40% less cost. Now I do have Eternal Rage, that's why we are full on Rage all the time. I do have Berserk, I bought this support that gives it +3. Scavenging Platen with prolonged duration, charge regulation for more defenses, and 25 increased skill speed. Now, the 25 increased skill speed, in one of my videos I was very confused why does it say increased, but then I have watched a video about power charges and frenzy charges, and basically one of the YouTubers I was watching said this got nerfed because this before had said 25 more skill speed, not increase more skill speed. That's why I was quite confused. It's still good, but it's not like overpowered like before. And Herald of Ash is gonna be on weapon set number 1. I have magnified area 2, compressed duration. This is mainly so the ignite doesn't last 3 seconds, it lasts 2 seconds, and it does more damage. It will do more damage in a shorter period of time. And Fire Mastery. And of course, if you are curious how we are getting frenzy charges, it's very simple. Every map there's always monsters that do lightning damage, and this charm basically when we take lightning damage we get a frenzy charge. So very good for mapping. This allows us to basically just move around and put our shield wall much faster. Now this is a setup for the constricting command. I will have the normal setup for the tank version also, but over here nothing is changed. It's still everything the same with the ascendancy. All of this stuff over here is basically the same. The new addition is the megalomaniac jewel with molten being, gain 5% as extra fire damage and 5% of physical damage taken as fire. And this is huge that I have this finally, because now any boss that deals physical damage, even with a constricted command version, I'm taking no physical damage basically. Even Xesht can't take half of my life with the constricting command setup that is basically damage setup, not tanky setup. So it's very strong. And I do have a second one. I mean, this one is also quite good, 25 increased stun threshold and +3 to stun threshold per strength. So it's not terrible, it could be better, but yeah, there was 9 divines and I had the chance, so I bought it, as they were much more expensive before. They'll go in for like 20-30 divines. So the Constricting command version. Yeah, I have put a lot of points over here. Basically just simple increases armor and 2 damage, nothing too special. This section over here is quite powerful, especially this one. You get 25% increased damage if you heavy stunned recently, and 25 increased damage while surrounded. You get also 25 attack damage while you have no life flask uses left. So basically, if you want to do even more damage, you pop up your life flask to 0 and you can have 25% more damage. Yeah, this one also another 20. So we do have quite a lot of damage. Like here, 50% increased melee damage against immobilized, so that counts as a heavy stun. We have some heavy stun over here, 40%. So the build basically will do even more damage if you heavy stun, like much more. It's insane. Over here, some more damage and armor. This one is just so we go from 3 meters to 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. It's not nothing too crazy. It's just and 20% attack speed while we're surrounded. And the weapon set number 2, movement speed, reduced potency. We can't get hindered or maimed. Some more movement speed, attack speed. And the From Nothing Diamond, which is way up here. What's this? Oh yeah. We take some more physical damage on weapon set number 1, and we take from mana before life damage taken and 15% increase attack speed. But there's not too much changes. Just now it's gonna depend on what version of the build you prefer. Is it the half decent tanky version, which you're still gonna be able to tank physical incoming damage quite well, but you're gonna struggle a little bit more with elemental damage, unless you just get better gear with armor applies to Ellie. Then yeah, it could be viable much more. But overall, the character is progressing and it's getting much stronger. I don't know if I'm gonna be one-shotting bosses in the time the way I'm going with this, because I still have like the mindset, yeah, I don't really need that amount of damage. I just want the character to survive every single encounter, every single mod in the game, and as long as I do that, I don't care about the damage. So that's the update for the video. Yeah, I still have one slot here. Maybe I could put some sort of damage. I was testing last time with Forge Hammer, and the plan basically was to have a Forge Hammer thrown. I would activate it with a Warcry, and I did put Ambrosia and extra lightning damage, and the plan was to apply shock to enemies or bosses for the 20% increased damage. If you put a gem that increases the magnitude of shock, you get 30%. And shock is a powerful mechanic, because if you have 20% on a boss, you will deal 20% more damage to the boss. So that's just 3 damage. The downside is that shield wall is not considered a slam, even though the animation does look like a slam, it doesn't count. So once you would place your Forge Hammer activated, any slams from the shield wall doesn't reappear the fishes. So far that's for the update. If I get a little bit more currency, my stuff will sell. I will do a couple more upgrades, and I believe the next video will be the final version video, the last one, because I do want to play some other stuff. I do want to play the bear and werewolf to test some stuff with it, and I'm quite interested with the new ascendancy class from the sorceress or mage. Basically, the note that got me interested, that you gain 60% armor from energy shield, something like that. I was thinking we could make a mage with armor and ES and be tanky and have like 15,000 ES. That would be great. And the whole gens, the fire gen especially, just I want that. I just want it. So the next video will be probably the last, if I'll even invest into this character even more. We'll see, we'll see. But yeah, overall, that will be it. I'll probably see you after the new year. So, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next one.